In 476 AD, the unthinkable happened. An empire that ruled for over 1,000 years, unrivaled in its power and influence, crumbled into the pages of history. How did Rome, the greatest civilization the world had ever seen, fall? At its zenith, the Roman Empire was a colossus bestriding the known world. Its legions marched from the misty shores of Britain to the sun-baked sands of Syria. Roman law, Roman engineering, Roman culture, all left an indelible mark on civilization. The emperors, worshipped as gods, commanded the largest, most sophisticated empire the world had ever seen. This was Rome at its height, confident, opulent, seemingly invincible. But even the mightiest of empires can fall. The Roman Empire, for all its glory, was built on a foundation riddled with fault lines, both literal and metaphorical. The very vastness that was its strength also became its undoing, as the sheer size of the empire made it difficult to govern effectively. Maintaining control over such a sprawling empire proved increasingly difficult, stretching its resources and its legions thin, leading to vulnerabilities. Within Rome's borders, a chasm grew between rich and poor, fueling social unrest and discontent, as the gap between the elite and the common people widened. Political instability became the norm, with emperors often meeting their ends through assassination or intrigue, creating a volatile and unpredictable leadership. The empire, once a beacon of stability and order, was now teetering on the brink of collapse, its foundations crumbling. The assassination of Commodus in 192 AD marked a significant turning point in Roman history. His death unleashed a period of chaos known as the Year of the Five Emperors, a chaotic free-for-all for the throne, with multiple claimants vying for power. This power struggle set the stage for the turmoil that would characterize the 3rd century AD, a time of great instability and conflict. Rome, consumed by its internal demons and plagued by corruption, was ill-prepared for the storms brewing on the horizon. The barbarians, sensing opportunity and weakness, began to test the empire's defenses with increasing frequency and ferocity, probing for weaknesses. A new chapter, a dark chapter, was about to be written in the saga of Rome, one that would see the empire face unprecedented challenges and threats. The 3rd century AD was a period of unprecedented crisis for the Roman Empire. Political instability reached new heights, with emperors rising and falling in rapid succession. Over 24 emperors reigned in this tumultuous century, most of them meeting violent ends. The empire, once a monolith, fragmented into warring factions as generals, claiming the throne for themselves, plunged the empire into civil war. Adding to the turmoil, economic woes crippled Rome. Rampant inflation, fueled by the debasement of its currency, crippled trade and impoverished the populace. The once feared legions, weakened by constant warfare and depleted ranks, struggled to contain the growing pressure on the empire's frontiers. The barbarians, emboldened by Rome's weakness, sensed opportunity. From the north, the east, and across the Rhine, they came in wave after wave, unleashing their fury upon a crumbling empire. The barbarian invasions, once a series of border skirmishes, transformed into a relentless deluge that threatened to engulf Rome entirely. From the east, the Goths, driven from their homelands by the nomadic Huns, pressed against the empire's borders, seeking land and refuge. In the north, the Franks, fierce Germanic warriors, raided across the Rhine, plundering Roman settlements and terrorizing the countryside. The Vandals, known for their ruthless sacking of cities, rampaged through Gaul and Hispania, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. These were not mere raids for plunder. The barbarians were no longer content with simply raiding and retreating. They were now migrating, seeking new homes within the empire's borders. The Romans, struggling to contain this multi-pronged assault, found themselves outmatched and outmaneuvered. The once vaunted legions, spread thin and demoralized, were simply unable to stem the barbarian tide. Section 5. The Sack of Rome, a City Laid Low. For nearly 8 centuries, the city of Rome, the Eternal City, had stood unconquered, a beacon of power and civilization. Its formidable walls and the legend of its legions had deterred countless invaders, instilling fear and respect in the hearts of those who dared to challenge it. But in 410 AD, the unthinkable happened, an event that would forever alter the course of history. Alaric, the cunning and ruthless leader of the Visigoths, breached Rome's defenses, and the Eternal City lay exposed to the fury of the barbarians, who showed no mercy. For 3 days and nights, the Visigoths rampaged through the streets of Rome, looting palaces and temples, setting fire to buildings, and leaving a trail of carnage in their wake, a scene of utter devastation. The sack of Rome sent shockwaves throughout the empire, a stark warning to all. It was a symbolic blow, a stark reminder that even the mightiest of empires could fall, and that no power is invincible. The image of Rome, sacked and burning, became a haunting symbol of the empire's decline, a vision that would linger in the collective memory. Though the Visigoths eventually withdrew, the damage was done, and the scars left behind were deep and lasting. The psychological impact of the sacking was profound, shaking the very foundations of Roman society. The empire, already teetering on the brink, had been dealt a mortal wound, one from which it would never fully recover. Section 6. The Last Emperor, a throne, lies vacant. As the Western Roman Empire crumbled around him, a young emperor sat upon the throne. His name was Romulus Augustulus, a teenager thrust into a position of power he was ill-equipped to handle. Romulus was little more than a figurehead, a puppet emperor controlled by his father, the ambitious general Orestes. In 476 AD, Orestes, embroiled in a power struggle with his former general Odoacer, met his end. Odoacer, a Germanic general who had risen through the ranks of the Roman army, marched on Ravenna, the seat of the Western Roman Empire, and deposed Romulus Augustulus. The young emperor, stripped of his titles and possessions, was sent into exile, a footnote in the annals of history. With his deposition, the Western Roman Empire, after centuries of dominance, breathed its last. Section 7. Odoacer's Rise, From Soldier to King. Odoacer, the Germanic general who brought down the Western Roman Empire, was a complex and enigmatic figure. A skilled warrior and a shrewd politician, he had served Rome faithfully for years, rising through the ranks to a position of considerable power. But Odoacer, like many of his Germanic counterparts, yearned for land and recognition. When Orestes refused his demands for land for his troops, Odoacer rebelled. After deposing Romulus Augustulus, Odoacer chose not to declare himself emperor. Instead, he sent the imperial regalia to Constantinople, acknowledging the authority of the Eastern Roman Emperor Zeno. In return, Zeno recognized Odoacer as king of Italy, granting him legitimacy and solidifying his control over the Italian peninsula. Odoacer's reign marked the beginning of a new era, an era in which Germanic kingdoms would rise from the ashes of the Western Roman Empire. Section 8. A new era begins, the fall's long shadow. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 AD was not a single cataclysmic event that brought about immediate and dramatic change. It was rather a gradual process of decline and disintegration that unfolded over centuries. The deposition of Romulus Augustulus, however, marked a significant turning point in history, a symbolic end to an era that had lasted for centuries. With the fall of Rome, Europe was plunged into a period of profound transformation. The centuries that followed the fall of Rome, known as the Middle Ages, were a time of both chaos and creativity. Germanic kingdoms established on the ruins of the Western Roman Empire gradually evolved into distinct entities, their cultures and traditions blending with those of the conquered Romans. The Christian Church, which had gained a foothold in the late Roman Empire, rose to prominence, becoming a unifying force in a fragmented world. This period saw the rise of new political structures, social systems, and cultural norms that would shape the future of Europe. The legacy of Rome, though diminished, continued to influence the emerging medieval societies, leaving an indelible mark on the course of history. Section 9. The Legacy of Rome, An Enduring Influence. Though the Western Roman Empire crumbled, its legacy lived on, its influence echoing through the halls of time. Roman law, language, and literature continued to shape Western civilization. The ruins of Roman cities, aqueducts, and roads stood as testaments to the empire's former glory, inspiring awe and wonder in those who beheld them. In the East, the Eastern Roman Empire, later known as the Byzantine Empire, continued to thrive for centuries, preserving and adapting Roman traditions. The Byzantine Empire became a center of learning and culture, keeping the flame of Roman civilization alive long after the fall of the West. The legacy of Rome, though fragmented, lived on, woven into the fabric of Western civilization. Section 10. Conclusion, Echoes of an Empire. The fall of the Roman Empire stands as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the mightiest of empires are not immune to decline. It is a story of hubris, of overreach, and of the internal rot that can eat away at even the most powerful of civilizations. But it is also a story of resilience, of adaptation, and of the enduring legacy of a civilization that, though vanished, continues to shape the world we live in today. The echoes of Rome can still be heard, whispering through the ruins of its cities, resonating in its art and literature and shaping the very fabric of Western civilization.